Hey guys, what's up? Big Ray here from wwecalgary.com, and I know you're probably saying, wait a second, this is supposed to be the Can-Am Wrestling Show. It is the Can-Am Wrestling Show, and I've never done this before, but I'm actually editing the video right now as we speak. I've never shot a video while editing the video that I'm about to put forth, which is the video you're about to watch. But the reason why I'm actually coming to you is because, look, about 3 years ago, I went on YouTube and I saw this amazing guy doing these great wrestling reports on his personal channel, that'd be Andre Corbeil. We fastly became really close friends, and we took our Can-Am show from his channel to a great website called TNA Mecca, and then we brought it back to his channel, and then finally we came to wwecalgary.com. Now, over the course of the last 3 years, or 3 years plus, me and Andre have had great shows. And I say that humbly, with amazing guests, but to use an old cliche, all great things must come to an end. And a quick little funny story, a lot of people may not know that me and Andre have never actually personally met. It's amazing what this world of social media and technology can provide. It provided me with one of my closest friends, and I haven't had a chance to travel up to Canada, but I will. Excuse me if I'm stuttering a little bit. I'm gonna miss doing the Can-Am Wrestling Show. I know me and Andre are not fighting, me and Andre are not at war. Andre's actually gonna be continuing some pretty big things, and he's gonna go his way into new ventures in his career. As you guys know, he is the commissioner of a great independent wrestling organization in Canada, and it's Real Canadian Wrestling, RCW. Listen, guys, wwecalgary.com is going to continue to provide you, great news, reports, video reports. I'm going to be here, and we're looking to move in a different direction. We'll continue with Bill Apter, obviously, who is the guru of this whole establishment, but I'm looking to personally go in a different direction with people like Bill Schuyler, Billy Ray Valentine, bringing in new faces. If you guys are not fans of the PW Hustle podcast, like Fame Black, like A-Track Brown, like the Professor Quintana, and I think I mentioned Billy Ray Valentine, but if I didn't, Billy Ray Valentine. It's been one hell of a ride. And I want to thank you guys for all your support, always supporting me and Andre, always putting us over. I always say, I would do this for a living, and if I can, I would do it anyway. Why? Because I love talking wrestling, and I absolutely do love talking wrestling. But I love talking wrestling with my buddy, my Can-Am brother from the north, Andre Corbeil. This episode will be our last. Can-Am 70 will be our last. And one of our very favorite guests, Jamin Olivencia, along with awesome referee Chris Sharpe. So I want to wish Andre the best of luck, and I think you guys are going to be pretty stoked to know what he gets into. It's going to be pretty awesome. But as for me, I'm going to miss this thing that we created, the Can-Am Wrestling Show. And in the words of Andre Corbeil, we are all in this for one thing. That's wrestling. Andre, thank you for all you provided, for all the TNA reports, the Can-Am Wrestling Show, news updates here at wwecalgary.com. I will miss you. And just like in the world of professional wrestling, people say, oh, he'll never come back, or there'll never be another Can-Am show, which they will never be another Can-Am show. But never say never. Who knows? Maybe down the road, you may see us again. But for now, for the last time, to my Can-Am brother from the north, my Canadian compadre. Ladies and gentlemen, the final Can-Am Wrestling Show. Thank you. Enjoy.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Can-Am Wrestling Show.
I mean, I've watched your guys' show, you know, so it's nothing new to me.
This is Petey Williams' definition of make-believe muscle, and I need you to subscribe to Andre Corbeil on YouTube.
Hi, I'm Diana Hart. You're watching the Can-Am Wrestling Show with Big Ray and Andre Corbeil.
That's right.
What brings you to my house like Petey Corbeil while I'm wearing my PJs?
This is Monsters DC, and you're watching the Can-Am Wrestling Show, aka formerly Brodus Clay the Funkasaurus, and you do know that.
It's me, Hernandez, aka the Supermex, and you're watching the Can-Am Wrestling Show.
This is the effing machine, this is Wolverine, Mr. GMSI himself, Brian Cage, here with Andre and Big Ray, and you're watching the Can-Am Wrestling Show.
You know, there's this thing that they like to do, and I'm going to do it for you right now. In 5, 4, 3. Oh, hello. My name is Jamin Olivencia. I am Global Force Wrestling's biggest athlete right now. In fact, I'm actually the biggest player in the game right now. In fact, I am actually the MVP of the game because Jamin Olivencia is always thinking playoffs. But why are we thinking playoffs? Because Jamin Olivencia, the biggest player in the game, is going to be on the Can-Am Wrestling Show. Why? Because we're going to talk about it all. Why? Because everybody wants to hear it all. Why? Because you need to experience it. You need to experience it to the point where the headphones come out of my ears. Now, how's that for a show? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Can-Am Wrestling Show episode number, I can't count, 70. You know me, I am the mark of the masses, the man with the plan. Big Ray here to stay to talk some wrestling today, and I am joined, as always, by my Can-Am brother from the north, my Canadian compadre. I call him the Canadian Destroyer. You can follow him on Twitter at Andre_Corbeil. And Andre, we are joined by our guest, and would you like to do the introduction, my friend?
Well, it's not going to be a big introduction like way back when, which was quite lengthy. Long story short, our friend joins us on the Can-Am Wrestling Show. He's the Ohio Valley Wrestling longest reigning heavyweight champion in company history, and now he's with Jeff Jarrett's Global Force Wrestling promotion. And it's been a while since we had our bro on the show, so Andre Corbeil, Big Ray, we've decided to bow out of our usual top 10 this week and just enjoy the ride as Jamin Olivencia is going to share his top 10 opponents, and it's been many high-level opponents that this man has faced. And before we continue on, I think this gentleman that you're looking at on the screen could very well be Global Force Wrestling's dark horse.
Hold on. Before we say anything, Jamie, before you open your mouth, I have to give a quick shout-out. And a quick shout-out because before I actually shot the show today, earlier today, I was on the phone with my beautiful girlfriend, Jennifer. And you can follow her on Twitter at Jennifer L. Lovely. And she's not a big wrestling fan, but she does love what I do, and she does support me. And I said, and she goes, well, who are you going to interview? And I said, well, it's this really awesome guy. His name is Jamin Olivencia. He's a great wrestler. He's really cool, and I think you would dig him. So I sent her a little picture, and I waited for it, and she goes, ooh, he's a cutie.
So Jennifer's going to be watching this episode 70 of the Can-Am Wrestling Show.
So how do you feel that Big Ray's girlfriend finds you to be, in fact, a cutie, sir?
Well, Jennifer, I am completely overwhelmed by your taste in men because I am a complete nutcase. So I don't know what you see in me, but I highly suggest that you stay away from me as far as possible and stick with Big Ray because he obviously knows what he's doing. Hence the reason why you guys are together. So don't forget about my looks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I mean, listen, I'm not that bad looking myself, brother. You know, so
Big Slim.
Yeah, you look good. You look good. Now, Ray, I got to make an observation, and I know I have a top 10 here, but the last time we spoke, I believe it was a year ago, maybe less, but you have lost a ton of weight, and I got to congratulate you because obviously hard work is paying off. We're doing the diamond sign. Are we thanking DDP for this, I'm assuming?
we are thanking. Well, first and foremost, I got to thank God, and then I'm going to thank myself for putting in the damn work. But but obviously, DDP Yoga, the program is Jamin. Seriously, it works. I feel stronger. I'm obviously lighter, healthier, and I'm doing it for two reasons. Well, three reasons. Number one, I'm doing it for my health. But number two, I'm doing it for my son. Because if I'm healthy, then I'll be around for my son. And number three, I'm healthy for my son. I'm also healthy for my future wife. Jennifer.
Oh!
So
and it creates awareness for Aiden as well, setting that example.
You got to see him. Sometimes I'm doing DDP Yoga while we're in the house. And this is not a promotion for DDP Yoga. It's just anyone who follows this show for the last 3 years, you guys see there is a distinct difference. And there's a lot of people doing the program. But, Jamin, seriously, man, you being as healthy as you look, and again, I did send that picture of you kind of standing there with your OVW championship belt with the six pack there, and then again, my gorgeous girlfriend Jennifer's like, ooh. So you know, I mean, you know about health, and again, I have a long way to go, brother. But my man, I feel 10,000 times better than I did. My blood pressure is down, my weight is down, and my confidence is up. So. You're a confident person, so it's a good person.
Well, isn't that the idea? The idea of life in general is to always be confident in any circumstance you're in. It doesn't matter where you are. It's the idea of knowing and feeling that you feel good about yourself. And when you do that, you really set an example for others. And in your case, the most important example you can set is for your family. Obviously, you do it for your son. You do it for your future wife, I mean Jennifer, and to be an example like that, to me only shows just strong initiative. It shows that you as a person can redefine how you want to write the story of your life, and really give once again an example to your family of something they can look up to and something they can strive for within themselves, however they want to creatively do that. So. Kudos to you, my friend. And Andre, you look very good as well. I like your tie.
Thanks, buddy.
Fully recovered. Andre almost at the brink of death, coming back.
Oh.
I don't know if you know, Andre was really sick and almost died on us.
I'll be on modified duties until December this year still. I had 3 hoses coming out of me. I had a collapsed lung, a blood clot, punctured stomach lining, and 2 broken ribs. I was messed up. It's been a long recovery.
And you're doing better, though.
Yeah, my cardio is still, and my respiratory is still a work in progress, but yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Well, hey, man, stay strong, dude.
Thanks.
Well, Andre exemplifies strength because he went through a hell of a lot. And listen, Andre, I gotta be honest with you, dude. You definitely motivated me. Also, you know, when I was working to get healthy. Is that your cat again?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! Let me tell you something, Jamie.
I'm in the process of moving and packing. Slow process. Still a ways to go.
That damn cat gets more airtime.
I got these giant boxes and boxes. Cats. Yeah, I guess he couldn't resist. Stay in there.
It gets way more airtime than any of us. But what's your?
I know he's a pig, a hog,
Whatever. Freaking jerk. But anyway. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we're here at OneWrestling.com with Jamin Olivencia. So, Andre, I think it's time, my friend, to jump into our top 10.
All right.
Jamin Olivencia opponents.
Top 10 opponents. Jeez. These questions are always hard because I'm going to give you a top 10, but I always feel like there should be more to the list because I feel like every single encounter I've ever had has been some of the most intense fights I've ever had. So, but from the top of my head, someone who comes to mind immediately is Joey Mercury.
Oh, yes.
Joey Mercury is a machine. He is a pioneer in his own right. He is one of the most creative guys I've ever been around in this industry, and I've learned a lot from him. So I would really put Joey Mercury probably number one on my list, as he's just been such a huge support system of me and has helped me evolve in my own way. But he's awesome. He's awesome. So Joey Mercury gets number one for me. Number two, I would have to give it to Ali Akbar. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Mm-hmm. He is out of Ohio Valley Wrestling, or was out of Ohio Valley Wrestling, and now he's in Global Force Wrestling with me. And his story is unbelievable. We're talking about a guy that, based off his heritage, based off his looks, he can. We're in a country that loves to judge, and when you look at anybody like him, that's Iranian and from a different culture, it's very easy to point the finger at them due to all the things that have happened here. However, Ali is an extremely smart guy, extremely well educated, and he probably speaks better than half of the people in the United States. So Ali is definitely on the list as far as tough dudes I've been in the ring with. I'm also going to throw Sanjay Dutt on that list because
he's one of my favorites, by the way.
Yeah, he's a beast, man. He's a guy he's one of those guys that's my size, and he has this attitude of needing to be the best. And when you're in the ring with someone like that, that thinks like you in that respect, it's full-fledged. So Sanjay definitely is a guy who has earned his way to Global Force Wrestling. He has earned his way to any opportunity that he's ever received in this business, and he still continues to make a name for himself. So he's clearly doing good.
One thing I want to say about Sanjay Dutt, and me and Andre did one time our top 10 finishers. He has one of my very, very, very favorite finishers, or the move where he does the moonsault off the top rope and lands basically feet first onto the opponent's chest or stomach. Dude, this guy is ultra talented. I loved when he was in TNA Wrestling. He helped make the X Division, and again, that's my opinion. But I've always admired Sanjay Dutt, and for you to work with him must have been a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure getting in the ring with him. It's always a pleasure to be, performing against anybody. Right. Whether I know you or I don't know you, it makes it fun, And that's the other thing I wanted to add to the list. Like, there was guys like Johnny Gargano that I want to add to the list. That these are guys that I wasn't wrestling regularly, but when I had the opportunity to get in the ring with these guys, it's like a completely different planet. You're going against guys with different styles, different ideas. And when you got guys like that mixed in with guys like Jamin Olivencia, then you got yourself some magic happening. He's one of the guys, along with Adam Cole, too. Oh. Adam Cole is a kid who I saw him coming up, and he was skinny. He was, a lot of people always liked his work ethic, and I always just saw his heart. That's what I saw in him. And clearly, he's doing very well for himself right now as well. So to see those guys, really come up in their own way is really cool.
And if I may say, Adam Cole, Andre, and I would like your opinion on this really quickly. Adam Cole.
I want to rewind way back to Sanjay Dutt. Being an Impact Wrestling reporter myself, I actually would say that he is the absolute best X Division competitor to never become X Division champion within the boundaries of the company, the confines of the company. What was the question you wanted to ask me, Ray?
No, I've watched Adam Cole quite a bit, and especially now since we get ROH over here on television, here in New York City. And Adam Cole is just, I thought he was a lot older than what
he's this young stud.
Yeah, but he shows a maturity in the ring and just a charisma, and it kind of reminds me of a guy that we're talking to right now, who's a young man who shows a lot of charisma, a ton of charisma, and Jamin, I know you're a very young man. You're a lot younger than me, and you just show this maturity about you, and just you guys have that it factor. Adam Cole, again, one of my favorites now.
And what I personally like the most about Adam Cole is his heelish capability.
Oh,
he gets it. He gets it.
Oh yes,
and
he does.
I appreciate the heel Adam Cole. I don't really care too much for the face, but yeah, just a phenomenal heel. Understands the psychology of the business. Lots of years ahead, and I think eventually he'll be headed to a Stamford-based promotion. Eventually.
Think so?
Eventually.
All right.
He's a great hand.
Why don't you keep moving, Jamin?
Well, okay. Chris Silvio. He is now the current Ohio Valley Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. Not sure if you're aware of him or not.
And a podcast. He does a podcast as well.
He does a podcast. He does a lot of things. He's a really interesting artist. I don't even look at him as like a wrestler. I look at him as just an artist. He does music. He does painting. You know, he's a phenomenal wrestler. Like he's a little machine too. He's one of the hardest working guys I've ever met. And right now he's really just coming up. And I think you're going to see a lot of cool things from him if you pay attention to him. He's just a very interesting dude.
Some of those traits you described. sorry, Jamin. Some of those traits you described reminded me of Paradise.
Paradise is not on my list. However, he's one of my good friends, and as long as I've known him, I wish we actually have went up against each other more, because he is just so eccentric. He's so unique, and he's off the wall. He's a guy that I believe if you go to a wrestling show, you're always going to get a 10 out of 10 with him, because he just brings an excitement, and he brings something different to the show. You know, a lot of people go to these shows for some good wrestling. Some people go to these shows just for the kids, but Paradise really encompasses all those things, and he's able to make it entertaining at the same time. So he really is a true clown in his own right. There's a gentleman you guys know very well, I'm sure, Evan Bourne. We've had some of my best matches in Ohio Valley Wrestling when he was with me there, and he's another one of those guys, man, that's just passionate. You know, a lot of these guys I'm even speaking about, which you guys already probably can see, these are just passionate people. These are people that love the business. They thrive on the business. And when you got people like that, like boom, 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 you got yourself magic always happening around you. So he's definitely one of those guys that brings the magic to any performance, any type of fight. Same thing goes with a gentleman by the name who you guys are hearing a lot more of these days is Michael Hayes. Are you aware of him?
Yeah, I have a Michael Hayes question for you.
Oh, perfect.
Later on in the show. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Michael Hayes he's one of those guys that when I met him, I was so impressed with his eagerness to be involved, his eagerness to learn. He would never stop asking questions when I first met him. And at first, I actually recall being a little annoyed by Mike because he was asking that many questions. He was always just wanting to figure it out. And what he's been through is something that he should really tell. But he's just he's a phenomenal human being. And being in the ring with him having one leg is so impressive, because he can go just like any of the rest of us, but he has one leg. So to me, that makes you one badass dude. So absolutely. Michael Hayes, I can't say enough great things about him. My heart is always with that guy because he's just that unbelievable. Another guy, Shiloh Jones. He was an OVW cat. He's a guy that you may have seen some of his work. You may have not seen some of it, but he's got a charisma and a confidence to him. And once again, one of those people, if he wants it, he can go have it. He has that Adam Cole type of charisma to him. He's just unique in his own way, and once again, it's to explain some of the qualities that these guys have is I feel like I'm not even doing them fully justice, because these guys bring so much passion and excitement to the table in their own respect. But I'm going to bring you to my last guy, who is just a beast overall, is Marcus Anthony.
Oh.
I don't.
Strongest gamer alive.
Huh?
Strongest gamer alive, right?
The strongest gamer alive, and I would have to say that I'm one of the strongest dudes alive, because getting in the ring with him, I think I've almost died.
And you guys had a
Many
back and
times.
forth feud that went on for a couple months, right?
Yeah, he's a freak. I would put him up against a Brock Lesnar even.
Wow.
On top
Okay.
of his strength, he just doesn't get tired, and he was by far one of my hardest opponents of all time. Just survival, and just in the survival way. It was always how am I going to survive? I would definitely say my prayer is extra before fighting that dude every single time.
Beast.
But he brings it, and I respect him.
He's a beast. That's the word that comes to mind for me, is beast. Going back to Shiloh Jones, he was the leader of a faction. The name of the faction is escaping me at the present time.
The Marauders.
He's really, really talented when it comes to telling off the fans, getting them pissed off, and vocal. I noticed that. He's
Yes.
pretty good on the stick.
He's once again, he's one of those guys that if he really wants it, and I can't speak for him, so I don't want to go off and say it, but if he really wants anything in life, that guy can go get it. He's got a really interesting calmness to him in all situations, and it really comes across in his work in the ring, where he's very comfortable with himself. And I think that goes to say a lot about a lot of the guys I was just speaking about. All these guys walk into their jobs, they walk into work, they walk into life just ready to go. And when you got people like that, how can you not get better yourself?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So Andre, now are we gonna talk about the actual GFW roster, or are we gonna get into that?
You must have the roster. You got it there, brother?
I have the roster. Now, what I want
Okay.
Jamin to do is, I'm gonna run down the roster, and if there's a name that kind of sticks out to you, somebody that maybe the fans out there at onewrestling.com don't know about, maybe you want to fill them in, or someone who kind of sparks an interest within the roster that you might be interested in talking about. What do you think, Andre? Is that cool?
That sounds great.
All right, so I'm going to quickly run this down. We got the Akbars, Andrew Everett, the Bollywood Boys. Now, I'm going to stop here. I would like to get your take on the Bollywood Boys.
Well, I'm going to be fair in all of this. You guys are going to mention this roster to me. However, my approach is a little different. A lot of guys study these other guys that are on the same roster. They're all watching their stuff. They're all trying to get to know them. My whole idea, now I've never met these guys personally, and I've heard nothing but amazing things about them. However, I don't make an assessment unless I am seeing it for myself on some level. So a lot of these guys in the locker room, from my experience, is more or less just peers who I look upon and I shall pass. That's always my idea. I don't look at these guys and stop and say, "Ooh, look at that gem." In fact, I am actually quite opposite of that. I'm the one that's walking like the gem, and everyone's looking at me, and everybody's asking the questions. And when you got a guy like Jamin Olivencia, who is me, you have somebody that is not afraid of anything. doesn't have any fear. In fact, my experiences in Global Force Wrestling thus far has been interesting because a lot of these guys in the locker room have already seen me, and I can already tell are intimidated by me on some level. They're intimidated by my abilities to speak. They're intimidated by my abilities to get in the ring and kill it every single time. They're intimidated by my abilities to connect with an audience, whether they like me or they don't. But that's the idea with Jamin Olivencia. It's the idea that you're on a ride with me, and whether you like me, you're going to be in for one hell of a ride. And if you don't like me, you're going to be still in for one hell of a ride. So that's really entirely on the perception of those who are looking in. And from me looking out at the roster, there is no stop and ooh. It is more of just yeah, next.
And go.
Yeah, next.
And go.
Well, maybe as I continue to read down this roster.
Keep in mind, everybody, this is a roster that's comprised and compiled from global talents from around the world. So I don't think there'd be too many people out there that would have a leg up on every single talent within this diverse roster.
Well, I mean, go ahead, James.
It's a very diverse roster. It's a very interesting roster. What Global Force Wrestling is doing right now is it's just awesome because you are getting all the talents from all around the world, and that's exciting. That's exciting to me. However, it doesn't intimidate me. It only makes me want to really just engage those circumstances more. Once again, we were discussing the idea of looking at people and just getting my idea and my feelings on them. But I really love that. For me, the spirit of competition is not knowing anything about your competitor at all. And when you go out there with them and you have a knockout match, that's the true flow of life for me. Because once you put something in your head about somebody or something, you're also opening the possibility of having some fear there or insecurity or even some self-doubt. And with me, it's just always head on. And that's what's I'm extremely excited to be a part of Global Wrestling for that simple fact. The fact that you're getting talents from all around the world who are awesome. Like, it's not just this guy's decent from Japan. It's not like this guy's okay from Mexico. It's no, you literally have the best talent of the best around the world getting an opportunity. And from your perspective, how do you guys feel about that?
Andre?
I think Jeff Jarrett wants it to have an old school NWA feel to it. You remember back in the NWA days when they would bring in the luchadors from Mexico, they would bring in the Japanese talents, they would send talents over there. Exchanging wrestling talents who are independent contractors is only abroad healthy for the business in general. So
absolutely,
I like it. There's still a lot of questions pertaining and relating to the structuring of this company from Jeff because he's been somewhat tight-lipped, and I understand that. I'm expecting some big news very soon to come down the turnpike, but we're not gonna divulge any of that or go into that. I was at Davey Boy Smith Jr.'s birthday party 2 days ago, Jamin, and it was a great time. Watch out for him and Global Force Wrestling fans.
Yeah,
phenomenal talent.
He's unbelievable.
Well, I'm actually wondering if I should continue to read this roster, because if I read the roster, all I'm gonna do is get shot down because Jamin Olivencia apparently is gonna kick everyone's ass here on this roster.
It's not kicking everyone's ass. It's just outdoing everyone. You know, that's always been me. It's always been my attitude in any situation. It's the idea of going there and I'm gonna be the best I can, and everyone's gonna either like it or they're not. And the people that like it are the ones that are still behind me to this day. The ones that don't like it are the ones that are still watching me to this day. So it's one of those things where you're just going to experience Jamin Olivencia, and it's not the idea of, oh, Jamin's the best in Global Force Wrestling. It's holy cow, Jamin Olivencia is Jamin Olivencia. Like, that is a completely different entity, and that's the energy I bring to the table.
Well, all right. I'm gonna take a different take to this. I'm gonna grab a name out of this roster, Andre, because we can always paste the entire roster down in the description below.
Yeah, we'll just put it on the. We'll put it on.
But there are a couple of names here that I find interesting, and I wouldn't mind either seeing you in the ring with, or maybe seeing you work with. Now, one of the people that I would love to see you work with, or maybe be interviewed by, or I mean, I don't know if Jamin Olivencia needs a manager, if that, but how do you feel about Jim Cornette working within this Global Force wrestling organization?
Good question, Ray.
Jim Cornette, to me, I think Jim Cornette's a genius. I think he has a lot of insight on the business. I'm very aware that he's not the most popular guy amongst other people in this business. However, you can't deny the intelligence and the intellect that this guy brings to the table and every single time. He's passionate. So I feel like Jim adds a lot of great things. And once again, going back to Jeff Jarrett and just his vision of bringing in all these different talents, that's what's cool about this. You get the ability to appreciate all different types of wrestling and in all different types of eras that have been in wrestling within that same company. So it's a mixture of a lot of things. But I think Jim Cornette is a genius. I think he's completely nuts, and I like that. Like, I love people who are crazy. Like, that's why we're here, right? So I mean, I don't know. I think he's got a lot of great things to bring to the table. I don't know the extent of his involvement with Global Force Wrestling, but I know that the times that I have seen him on the shows that I have been on, he's added a lot of great things to that show. So I don't know. I think Jim Cornette's a genius. So
there's another name that kind of sticks out to me, and I think Andre, and I'm going to ask your opinion. I think this would be a phenomenal match, and this guy is one of the top workers, I believe, in the business. We have a guy that is a legit wrestler, a high flyer, a guy that I would love to see Jamin Olivencia in the ring with, and that's a guy by the name of Shelton Benjamin. Your opinions on him, Andre, first, and then I already know what Jamin's going to say, I think.
That would probably make my top 5 matchups on this list. Going over the list, for some strange reason, Chris Sabin versus Jamin Olivencia really stands out to me. I would love to see that match. Book it, Double J.
Dude, how about
Get on it, Karen. Make it happen.
So, Jamin, what happens in a triple threat match between you, Shelton Benjamin, and Chris Sabin?
Well, I let them two duke it out, and then I take the win when I see the opening. I'm not that stupid. Shelton Benjamin, man, that dude, I would love to go one-on-one with him.
I want to see that.
That's one of those, I can tell you right now, that's one of those matches and that's why I love Global Force Wrestling, by the way. You're getting all these worlds colliding. That's what's so cool. But
you're not getting the same match
Shelton,
every week. You're not going to get the same matchups every week.
I like that.
That's what I like.
It's fresh. Yeah. I think, wrestling has its own way of entertaining people. You have storylines, you have this and that. What I like about Global Force Wrestling, as far as I can see, they're really focusing on us as people. They're focusing on us as the individuals, who we are. And I think that's a great opportunity for guys who are getting an opportunity through this company and are able to express themselves, where maybe in some other companies that they worked for, they weren't able to do that. And going back to the Shelton Benjamin thing, I think me and Shelton would probably put people on their deathbeds, because you would be like, holy cow, like you'd probably lose your breath. Your heart may stop. And that's just the idea of what it's all about when you got people, once again, that are passionate. I've known Shelton for years. He's an extremely passionate individual, and he looks great. Yeah. He's been staying consistent. And to me, consistency is everything. So if I see consistency in people, why not dive into that? But once again, going back to what Ray already knows that I'm going to say, is I will run all over him too. And Chris Sabin, I'll give him the best match of his life.
Okay.
And I will run all over him at the same time.
Now, Now, one of my very favorite guys, and I'm talking about Andre. Now me and Andre are TNA fans from way back in the day, and this guy was the name kind of sticks out to me, and he's one of the guys that I've been dying to get on this show for a very long time, Andre Corbeil, and I need you to work your magic to try to get him on. But you know, Jamin Olivencia, a guy with the size and speed of the American Psycho Lance Hoyt. I mean, how does one Jamin Olivencia, you know, go against a guy that not only wrestled here in the United States but honed his skills in Japan?
Well, you know, I don't care where you hone your skills. I mean, to me, skills is simply a mindset. You know, in a business full of egos, in a business full of people who are insecure consistently, that's what I prey on. That's what's always been my strength. See, I don't have a fear per se, and I don't have a style per se. In fact, outside of wrestling, I do a lot of different other things of all types of different martial arts. So to me, it's always implementing those things when people least expect them. And that's, once again, going back to what you always get out of me. You're always going to get something that you can't expect. And I think that's the excitement of professional wrestling. Lance Hoyt's awesome. He's phenomenal. And he's a nutcase.
He's psycho.
But so am I. So am I.
Well, I mean, you brought something forth, talking about guys that wrestle for other organizations, and like the WWE. If you have a guy like did we lose Jamin?
Nope.
No, but he had
just
a wicked,
froze.
That was.
I do a really good job of keeping.
That was
still.
like Al Pacino face right
very
there.
Cool. No, very cool because you had me there, bro. But you know, delving into guys that work for WWE, like a guy like PJ Black, a guy like Trent Beretta. These are two guys that you know that are on the GFW roster that really I don't feel ever got that push. This company will give them the ability, or I wouldn't say the ability, the opportunity to thrive and to show what they're made of. I mean, just the other day we saw PJ Black on Impact Wrestling, formerly Justin Gabriel of the WWE,
winning the title.
Winning the title.
First shot. If that's not opportunity or something for fans to get excited about to see,
awesome. Yeah,
I don't know what is.
All right.
I agree 110% with you guys. I think right now this is a really cool transition in wrestling. And once again, going back to kind of what I was just discussing about how these guys are bringing more of who they are to the game these days. And you know, a lot of people look back on wrestling and they talk about The Rock, they talk about Stone Cold Steve Austin, they talk about these personalities that were just larger than life. And for so long, since I've been in the business, everybody has complained about how they never get to be themselves and this and that. And I really just think it's so cool that Global Force Wrestling is bringing these people on and not telling you how to be. They're allowing you to be however you want to be. So whatever it is that you want to express, you can express it. So a guy like PJ Black, who's getting an opportunity, he's winning titles already, I think that's great because he's showing a side of him that he didn't get a chance to do, I guess, in WWE, you know? At least maybe not in the way that he wanted.
Right.
And I think that's just the whole idea of Global Force Wrestling, once again, and what I truly enjoy about working for that company.
Okay. I mean, that's an excellent answer. Now, is there anyone on this roster? You know what, Andre? I'm looking at this roster, and it's a roster full of amazing competitors. There's one last guy I'd be interested to kind of throw Jamin's way, and I would love to hear your opinion on this, Andre. Now, you know, this guy's been known as King of the Mountain. I mean, Jeff Jarrett is retired. I mean, what happens if the boss gets in your face? What happens between you and the boss, Jeff Jarrett? I mean, do you get a face full of guitar, or do you take him to school?
No, Jeff Jarrett wakes up in a hospital, and then he realizes that Jamin Olivencia is the real deal, that Jamin Olivencia is the light that's outshining the darkness at any point. That's the idea. See, Jamin Olivencia is the type of guy that can open up the gates of hell, push the devil aside, and slap his mother on the mouth. Ooh. That's the type of guy that I am. So no. I believe Double J absolutely knows what he has in Jamin Olivencia, and I do believe that Double J knows that he's certainly not going to cross Jamin Olivencia, but align himself with Jamin Olivencia, knowing that Jamin Olivencia has got the thing that everybody else is searching so damn hard for. But where's there to search? Where? Tell me. Somebody tell me where's there to search. Nowhere to search. We're right here. We're right here, and we're right now. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that an awesome thing to know? That there's somebody right now looking you guys dead in the eyes through a camera and knowing, unconditional knowing, not even questioning, not even thinking, just knowing. Who wants to step up to my plate? Who wants to go one-on-one with me on the microphone? Who wants to go one-on-one with me in the ring? Who wants to go one-on-one with me outside the ring? It doesn't matter. I bring it every single time.
And to go back to the...
You picked yourself a good guy.
Sorry to keep interrupting you, Jamin, there. I wanted to remind the fans, going back to the confidence levels that you display and have, this is a man that called out the Olympic gold medalist multiple times on a campaign for months. So fans thinking that maybe this guy doesn't have that amount of nards, we'll call them. Don't get it misconstrued, confused. The man can back it up. Longest reigning OVW heavyweight champion in history.
There's no question about that, number one. Number two, to address Kurt Angle again, the challenge is always open, Kurt. I've been waiting for a very long time, and unfortunately, I believe he's injured. If I'm correct in that.
That he is.
I believe he's injured, so my condolences to him. I hope he recovers well, and I hope he's able to get back in the ring, and I hope he's able to be 100%, so then I can 100% whip his ass.
But then you put him back in the hospital.
Yeah, if he wants to go there, if he chooses to take it to that level with me, absolutely. I'll put anybody in the hospital in that respect. But Kurt Angle's a guy that I know is the best. So when you yourself, deep down in your heart, know that you can make a difference in people's lives, and you also see a guy like Kurt Angle who has made a difference in people's lives through, well, his actions and his history tells you everything. But when you have a guy that's done what Kurt Angle has done, why wouldn't you want to step up to the plate of that?
Right. I mean, there was
remember, the wolf climbing the mountain is always hungrier than the one on top.
Well, I mean,
that's always something to take into consideration, you know.
There is a wrestling legend that once said, "To be the man, you gotta beat the man." Woo! I don't know who that guy is, but he sounded like a pretty awesome Hall of Famer.
Pete Sanchez.
Pete Sanchez, yes, the guy who got beat up by Jimmy Snuka on the. No, not by Jimmy Snuka, by the late great Roddy Piper. I'm thinking about people who Roddy Piper beat up, and I'm going to ask your opinion on Roddy Piper a little later on. Now, Andre Corbeil, we can do two things. I think, now before we get into our, shooting on the spot segment, maybe we can go back in the day.
Sure.
Yeah, why don't we go back in the day? Because our friend, Bill Schuyler, is going back in the day, and you can follow him at You Got The Show on Twitter. He's going to go back in the day with a little old school,
Jamin
Olivencia. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going back in the day with Bill Schuyler as he tells a little story about our guest, Jamin Olivencia. Back in the day, brother.
Welcome, wrestling fans. You got the show. Bill Schuyler here at the Back in the Day segment at the Can-Am Wrestling Show. We're traveling back to New York State, September 28, 2013, Empire State Wrestling. We have the Dragon Gate USA champion Johnny Gargano meeting up and challenging OVW champion Jamin Olivencia. That's right, two champions. Titles not on the line. This is strictly for honor. And here we have two of the greatest wrestlers in the business today that are virtually unknown to most mainstream fans, and that needs to change, and that's by you, that's by me, getting the word out about Jamin Olivencia and Johnny Gargano and letting the big boys know across the world that they need to sign these guys. But I digress. This match started out as a great scientific mat clinic until Gargano decided to start taking cheap shots against Olivencia, and the fight begins. Jamin starts hitting Gargano with a beautiful 10 shots up in the turnbuckle, thrown off, and then he takes him to the next corner, puts him up again, another 10 shots, to the third corner, another 10 shots. Gargano then goes back to the mat, and he gets Jamin in a submission hold pin attempt, but Jamin Olivencia will not quit. He will not submit, and we get a slobber knocker of fists and fury back and forth between both champions with numerous near falls. Jamin fighting off a plethora of enziguris by Johnny Gargano, and he kicks out of an unbelievable Northern Lights suplex by the Dragon Gate USA champion, and he hits Gargano with a modified DDT for the 1, the 2, and the 3. Now, this would not be the last time that Jamin Olivencia and Johnny Gargano would face each other in the ring in numerous other federations. But of course, that's a story for another day. And I'll see you down the road.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back from back in the day with Bill Schuyler. Again, you can follow him on Twitter at YouGotTheShow with a little bit of Jamin Olivencia history. Bill Schuyler, we thank you very much. Now, Andre, I was actually talking to Bill Apter. You can follow him on Twitter at Apter1Wrestling. The legendary, the iconic Bill Apter, and apparently a ladies' man if you saw that last interview he did with that little hottie. But Bill Apter actually asked me a question. I'm going to ask you this question, Andre. Is wrestling fixed?
What? I didn't know it was broken.
Right, and that is the name of Bill Apter's book. Is wrestling fixed? I didn't know it was broken. Bill Apter has been in the industry since the early 1970s, story after story. Guys, you can go to Amazon.com and pre-order the book. Bill Apter will also give some information this October. He will be at Legends of the Ring doing a book signing. I will be there interviewing some of the biggest stars in professional wrestling along with Bill Apter, a.k.a. the ladies' man. Now, Andre Corbeil, we have another guest joining us. I would ask you to just move the camera over a little bit to your left, James, so I can see this. Oh, there he is. Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by Andre.
Also out on paperback from Diana Hart Smith. Yes, it's called Cauliflower Heart. Got my autographed edition from my good friend Diana Hart here.
Nice.
It's a 3-part series, a trilogy, wrestling romance, and wrestling fans, especially the ladies out there, you'll definitely enjoy this romance brought to you by Diana Hart Smith, my close personal friend. Yeah, now, speaking of close personal friends, Referee Chris Sharpe, one of the best referees in the business.
Referee extraordinaire.
Yeah, absolutely. The only man I know using the helmet cam.
Dude,
that's not what we're... what was that?
I'm really only here to say hi to you guys and to steal a little bit of Jamin Olivencia's airtime.
He's good at that in all circumstances.
Now, 1 second. Now, do you actually? Now, I'm not asking you to actually get the helmet cam, but do you actually have possession of the helmet cam? Because not for nothing, Chris, I'm sure I can think of 1,000 different ways I could use that helmet cam in my personal life. Oh, yeah. But that's a story for another day, Chris.
You know, they have all kinds of attachments. You can attach it to anything you want.
Oh, wonderful! Wonderful. We've gone from PG to PG-13, baby. Let's do it.
Real quick.
We're all thinking with the right head, ladies and gentlemen. Oh,
yes, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, wow. Lowbrow humor, Kevin Nash. So
now, Chris, tell the fans about what Round Peg Promotions is.
Yeah, man. Me and my brother-in-law, Chris Silvio, knew that this area that we're living in, if we're still going to be living here for a while, just needed to kind of shaking things up wrestling-wise and just in general entertainment-wise. And we started putting on a few shows, and they ended up being a big hit in the area. And we used a lot of the kind of OVW guys, people that are local, but we brought in a lot of other people Maybe a lot of OVW guys that they hadn't seen in a long time, but this area had really missed, or just talent from all over.
What Round Peg Promotions has been doing, and he's being modest a little bit here, he's being humble, but they what they're amazing at is the actual experience itself. Like they put on a production that feels different. They had their first Friday night fight a few months back, and it was a huge success. It wasn't an OVW show. It was strictly their show, and it had a very classy atmosphere to it. They had VIP tables that were serving wine. they had a dinner. It was wine and champagne.
Nice.
Sounds like wrestling at the Chase.
I'm telling you, it was.
And we just try to present it a little bit different. I mean, we kind of went all out, and we got a lot of hookups here in entertainment as far as people that do lighting for concerts and stuff. So, I mean, we showed this area as something that they just really weren't expecting from something other than WWE when they come into town. And we just offered something different. And at this point, I just kind of I think that these shows are at the point that now that we've done several of them, maybe they need to get out on the internet. They would just need to be seen by a lot more people.
Speaking of the internet and being seen by people, this man has his own YouTube channel at Ref Chris Sharpe. Go subscribe today, right after the show, as a matter of fact. Take it away.
Now, on this website, are we able to see a lot of head cam? I'm just putting it out there.
There's some head videos on there.
Wow, this has gone in a totally different direction than I thought. Now, humility and professional wrestling do not go hand in hand. But you seem like a very humble, very nice person, and again, does not go hand in hand. But how does class?
Not humble at all.
How does class? How does serving wine and champagne and beautiful tables? How does that kind of mesh for somebody that's never heard of watching a wrestling event and maybe wearing a tie?
I think that's even better. If you've never watched a wrestling event, come check out our show. It's not like a lot of wrestling events. I mean, each match is a little different, so you're going to get everything depending on what you do like as far as wrestling. But just the experience of coming, it just kind of feels like you're at an event, like you're at a party, like you're at a UFC fight or something.
It really was. The way they had it, the way they really did things, you know, I don't even think words can really describe how the atmosphere was.
We just had a totally different vision from what any, like, independent company does.
You can go to an independent show, and some are nice. Some have nice lights. Some bring certain things that are cool, and then others are just in a gymnasium or something. Right. But what these guys have done though is taken the atmosphere of wherever you're at, whether it would be a gymnasium, whether it's an awesome hall, and they bring the atmosphere it was more. It's like being at a boxing event.
It sounds like a gala presentation, like you're presenting a gala.
And we're making huge
cloth covered tables.
Yeah, I think
And lower lighting.
The wrestlers in this area play characters that are kind of larger than life, different than what they would normally do on OVW or whatever group from around here too. So we're just kind of, hey, maybe we need to dress you up a little bit different to put you on this show and give you a few extras for your entrance or whatever you need.
I mean, I gotta be honest with you, Chris. I mean, what it basically sounds like to me, I mean, if I was looking at from the outside looking in, I mean, it sounds like every single event, it's like New Year's Eve combined with professional wrestling. It sounds like
that's an awesome way to look at it.
That was a really good analogy. Yeah,
a gala.
Yeah.
A New Year's Eve gala.
You know, what's cool about these guys too is it's not just wrestling for them as far as putting on shows. They help out with concerts, any type of event that people are looking to do.
The wrestling show, so I'm talking about the wrestling aspect of what we do.
Sure, but to look at it from the other how they're expanding, and I think that's cool.
Concerts or comedy shows.
So are you guys looking to expand? Where are you guys located exactly? And are you guys ever, I don't know, maybe come over to the East Coast, maybe the New York area, maybe Florida?
And me and my brother-in-law live in Louisville, Kentucky, but we're not even here that often. I just moved here from Florida back in March. I still have a lot of roots out there, and I'm trying to get an event going there before fall ends. Basically, just trying to make something happen. I don't want to rush anything because I want it to be as successful as possible. I don't know about New York. Jamin's from New York. We ought to go hit up New York.
Damn right, and so am I. Listen, man, I represent the Lower East Side of New York for life. But the fact of the matter is that if you are ever in New York City, I'd be glad for you to buy me a steak dinner, my friend.
Yeah, you would, huh? Well,
and invite me to one of your shows.
Minnesota?
Sounds pretty awesome. Or maybe I mean, you never know. Maybe you guys can shoot up to Canada. Maybe invite Andre for a little bit of wine and champagne up there.
Yeah, we'll get them all drunk. And
What do you like, Andre? Are you a wine guy or a champagne guy?
I'm French, so I like champagne and wine.
Yeah, dude, I'm good with. I'm good.
I'll take a vodka Caesar before that every time. Spicy.
All right, attaboy. All right.
Listen, dude. Just give me a beer and a steak, man. I'm good to go. Freaking and the helmet cam.
And the helmet cam. Would you like some sour cream for your potatoes?
I don't wear the helmet cam. All right, dude. So it sounds like you guys definitely have taken a different perspective, and this is what I love about the independent indie wrestling. You know, people are so geared, and I'm not in any way putting down the WWE, but people are so geared watching the same thing every single week, the big productions, so on and so forth. It's kind of like redundant at one time, or like Andre says, like, you know, that tunnel vision. Whereas when you go into the indie circuit, you get a little bit of everything, a little something different. I mean, look at this. I mean, right now you're getting a little bit of class with the mix of professional wrestling. I mean, it almost brings it. It almost brings it back to the days of the early WWF when they mixed wrestling and rock and roll, and you had the rock and wrestling connection. So what would you, if you in one phrase, if you can kind of take everything that this upstart independent company is all about, what would you say? Let's say you had one sentence to sell this to the fans here at OneWrestling.com who want to come see your show. What would you say to everyone?
Say that we offer something different. It's 100% quality.
Different but the same. No, that doesn't make sense.
I don't think it is, man. It's just kinda, we want, when you walk into the building, there just to be a different feel. So when the matches are happening and the entrances are growing off, it's crazy. There's confetti, there's extras, there's bright lights. They're going all over. There's entrance videos or whatever. And then the dude walks down the ramp, and then when it's time for the fight, all the lights come down, and it gets real dark, and they just shine above the ring. And it just kind of, that feels like just kind of, whether you're in a smaller place or not, like that's an awesome way to use that place. It doesn't look like a high school gym with a basketball hoop in the background or whatever, and it just gives it a totally different feel. And I feel like, you know, a match or two in, everybody's really able to kind of feel the vibe and get into it a lot easier than a lot of these indies do.
Absolutely, and people sleep on wine and champagne. You can get really messed up with that stuff.
It really does sound like it really does sound like old NWA St. Louis wrestling at the Chase. It was like a ballroom type atmosphere.
Yes. It does feel that way. Yeah, that ballroom atmosphere. That's
just modern though.
Yeah.
Or bringing it back to Caesar's Palace, where they had some of the biggest boxing matches, and you see all the fancy schmancy people and with their, you know, white linen tables and what are you laughing at, Andre?
Because when you brought that up, the first thing that I thought of was the stupid togas that they did for WrestleMania at Caesar's Palace.
Jesus Christ!
That's what popped in my mind was the toga, the WrestleMania toga party.
Yeah, Jim Ross in the toga. That's hot. Anyway, Jamin.
To sum up, a round peg promotion show to me is just it sounds like we just said it, but it really is. It's 100% quality guarantee. And when you are putting something like that out there, when you're saying something like that, People,
you
you must deliver. There is, because if they're gonna go check this out and you say that and it's not that, then what's your word worth, right? So for us, I would say it's all about our word, and come check it out.
I think even with us as individuals, we say stuff like that, but we know we're gonna deliver. You just gotta deliver.
It's always that idea.
That's kind of what all of our friends around here kind of have, that kind of feel to them.
We are a different group of guys in the sense that we really take advantage of what's happening in life right now. We're not concerned with the future. We're not concerned with the past. We are concerned with what's in front of us. You know, and when you approach life like that, every single day to the best of your ability with the highest excitement that you can, you're not going to do anything other than kill it everywhere you go, because there's already a sense of you that has no doubt. And when you surround yourself with people such as him and a lot of the other guys that are involved with a lot of the things that we do,
it's weird how stuff manifests. Jamin and I have had, a lot of the times, especially throughout the course that we were in OVW, and we had known each other, I guess, really even close to like 8-10 years at this point. A lot of the times we got bigger opportunities or had to travel anywhere of distance and go somewhere and do something, or we went up to WWE or do something. We were always doing it together, and it was so weird that like every single time something happened, whether it be Ring of Honor or pay-per-view or just something, I would always be in the ring with him, and it just kind of always stood out. There was always that pattern.
Yeah, he always just follows me, so I can't get him out of my way. No matter what. But it's the idea of always having an attitude that's ready to go. You know,
but it's cool, and it makes those trips so easy and so much fun when you're with someone you know and trust. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Now I have a very.
It's more of a routine other than a task, right?
I have a very important.
Not even routine.
Every time,
you
man.
change it every day, man. If you're rewriting,
it's dude.
Exciting.
We love what we do.
Dude, we're talking over each other right now. That's how serious it is. That's not routine. That's just, hey, man, I'm excited to let you know what we know.
And it's so cool that we're both on board with Global Force as well.
Yeah.
I was in the other room and I heard him talking about it, and it really is that awesome, dude. There's so much fun. I can't wait for, the TV shows that they're taping in Vegas to be out there for the world to see, because they got something cool to offer.
And Andre, to go back to what you were saying earlier, and Jeff Jarrett, and he's biting his lip, and boy, is he biting his lip, because he continually has so much. He knows so many things that is just not time to release yet. And
everybody thought, oh, he's got nothing. He's doing nothing. And
yeah.
They said, no, he's not with TNA. And then they said, no, he's not going to be filming TV. And then they said, no, he's not going overseas. And he's doing all of this stuff.
Oh, Vegas is not going to be successful, but it was successful. You know what I mean? You get the idea. It's already once again, going back to, it's having that attitude and just going with it all the time. I believe Jeff Jarrett's got an ace up his sleeve, and we work for him and we don't even know what it is, but I know he's got an ace up his sleeve. He's way too confident, and he really is he's really doing the best he can to put something together for the wrestling fan base. And ultimately, that's all that matters.
And most of it is kind of cool that he's using a lot of talent that you wouldn't normally see on the same shows. Not like a lot of companies are willing.
Which we discussed earlier in the show, yes.
You know what I mean? The opportunities for you to have all kinds of awesome matchups that you were never able to have before are now there, because he's bringing people and stuff like that.
So listen, man, I really have a really important question. I mean, you guys, obviously, in this world, social media is extremely important. I mean, can we find Round Peg Productions on Facebook and on Twitter?
Yeah, man. Just check it out, Round Peg Promotions, RP_promotions on
Wait a second, are you talking about this place right here?
That's the one, man.
So why don't I just give that a follow, ladies and gentlemen? So that's RP_promotions on Twitter, and you can also find them on Facebook at, my friend,
Round Peg Promotions.
Paste it up, Ray.
Dude,
trying to fit in a square hole.
I got it. And how do we follow you on Twitter, Chris?
At Ref Chris Sharpe.
Oh, don't follow him.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna follow you right now.
Ridiculous. I'm gonna start posting fake NBA posters. We've got amongst our friends, we got a pretty good little tournament going on, and I've really kind of been showing my butt and making a big deal about it. And I finally played my first game today, and I lost. So I had to put my money where my mouth is. So
well, listen, check this out, guys. I have Ref Chris Sharpe here.
Oh my goodness.
I'm giving him a follow. I would love a follow back. That'd be at Big Ray Show on Twitter.
Well, it's okay. I'll get a notification.
Oh, you will. You damn well will, sir. So, Chris, listen, seriously, man, thank you for introducing us to this exciting new promotion. And let me see. Oh, it looks like I got a follow here. Who could that be?
This is 2015. That's how quick things work.
Dude, things do work quick, and I'm really excited to see your company and your promotions actually grow. I wish you the absolute best of luck, but it seems like you guys don't need luck. It seems like you guys have motivation, which is much better than luck. It's what you do with the luck that you get. So, again, that's my little humble opinion. Do you agree, Jamin? So, now, Andre, would you like to move on? Chris, are you going to hang out with us, or are you going to...
You're more than welcome to sit here with me. He can sit here with me.
Sure.
If that doesn't bother you guys. Or
since Chris is here right now.
Deal with Chris Sharpe's ass, but that's okay. He'll be smiling in the background.
Chris, since you're here, this next question can relate and pertain to both of you. Now,
so wait, Andre, I have a question. Are we shooting on the spot? Ladies and gentlemen, we have gone into our final chapter here, this Can-Am Wrestling Show, episode number 70. This is Shooting on the Spot with Jamin Olivencia, and in addition, Mr. Chris, referee extraordinaire Sharpe. That should be your new gimmick name. But anyway, so Andre, why don't you jump into your first question? Oh, look, I got a new follower.
Now, wrestling fans, both these gentlemen were staples in Ohio Valley Wrestling, owned for a long time by the one and only Nightmare Danny Davis. Now, Danny Davis, he drove a tight shift, and I'm really interested to hear both of your opinions regarding the sale of Ohio Valley Wrestling to longtime commentator, and I'm sure he did many more things within that promotion, Dean Hill. What are your guys' thoughts on the new owner of OVW?
Yeah, man, I think it's cool. I was at OVW for, like 6 years. And then I just kind of tried out some new stuff, and I'm still living in Louisville, so I still pop by there every once in a while and just say hey to people I know are still there. And the dude, Dean was always awesome to me, man. We went to his farm, hung out with his wife, hung out at his pond, cooked out like on more than one occasion. So I did get to know the guy quite a bit while I was there, and Dean was like so cool. So if you're gonna give it to somebody you know and trust, Dean's the man.
I agree 110% with everything he just said about Dean as a human being, as a person, as a man. He's got it down. It's almost like, and to be fair, I'm planning to go to Ohio Valley Wrestling to visit. So I haven't seen the product. However, I've heard that since he's been owner,
more people were talking about it, man.
And I think that's just cool.
There's something going for him.
Absolutely, and I think that's cool because it's almost like nothing. I can't assume that much has changed since he's owned it, only because he understands the mentality and he understands the vision in general on where Ohio Valley Wrestling needs to go, what direction they need to go.
While we were there, the company always went through periods of ups and downs where we would try to do whatever we can just to build it up, and there were times where we built that thing up like real high, and the place was packed week after week after week. And I think that it was just in one of those periods where it was going through a little bit of a slump. And to be honest, I kind of think the sale thing it got a big buzz, and it made a little bit of a difference, and it kind of happened at the right time for him. And it's just like ever since then, people are tweeting at me about OVW still. Like, when are you coming back? When are you coming back? I'm like, oh, check it out.
And if you think about it, what other man has really had that consistent of an eye on the product.
Well, it's not only that; it's even behind the scenes. Like he knows exactly how that company operates, not just from the wrestling show, but everything they do from live events and how to manage this and that, and blah blah blah. Because he's just been alongside Danny the whole time that he's been doing it. So, from a business aspect, like you might not see that on TV, watch the show, but that makes sense to me.
So 2 words, obviously a seamless transition.
Yeah, honestly. I would imagine so.
So I'm going to jump into my first question, and my question is going to be aimed directly at our guest, Jamin Olivencia. Now, Jamin, I'm going to show you this wonderful handcrafted championship belt made of the finest duct tape, aluminum foil.
That looks so good.
Aluminum foil, and look who the champion is. You know who that is? That's Aiden. That's my son. It's my 7-year-old son. It's got little snaps, got a little silver tip. Me and Aiden actually made this little belt together.
Awesome.
Now, as you see here, this is the Puerto Rican Heavyweight Championship, the WWF, because, you know.
Yeah, I guess you wanted those initials instead.
Absolutely, because I love the WWF.
You better lock your doors, Ray, because Carlos Colon is coming for that title.
Carlos Colon's going to have a hard time getting it from me. But my question to you is, Mr. Jamin Olivencia, if I say your name that way, I hope you don't mind. But have you ever considered maybe having your Latino culture, why did I say that with such an accent? Having your Latino culture be more like prominently utilized in your persona or gimmick?
You know, that's a really interesting question, and this is something that I've tossed around with myself for years. Being in a family that is very proud, and growing up in a I come from a very political family. My grandfather, my dad's dad, actually led the civil rights movements for Puerto Ricans in Buffalo, and helped them get many jobs, and to be a part of that family line is something that's really important to me. However, the one thing I can't seem to shake off is the fact that I don't want to express myself as a Puerto Rican per se, because I feel the personality of who I am already displays the Hispanic in me. You know, you can look at a Hispanic and come up with many different things. Oh, they're hyper, or they talk fast. They're sensitive. They're angry. There's already all these components that make me Hispanic in my own right. Where if I feel like if I come out there with a Puerto Rican flag and pretend like I know Spanish when I only know poquito. Yeah, it just doesn't translate for me as an individual or personality, because I never identified so much with it like that. I've always been proud of my heritage and will always be, but I just don't feel that I need to add that to my character per se. But that doesn't mean you wouldn't get it with the way I dress, or there's tons of things you still haven't seen from me that
you just also represent it more in real life.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can cook one hell of a rice and beans meal. I'll tell you that.
Well, I'm going to ask you a quick question. Do you own a guayabera, a Cuban shirt?
I don't.
Damn it!
I own Sazón though.
Oh, good. That's delicious.
I know how to make some red rice.
It's quite delicious. It's quite delicious. So Jamin Olivencia, I am in New York City, but would you be coming for the Puerto Rican Heavyweight Championship? You will have to fight a 4'6", 7-year-old named Aiden James Hernandez.
Well, actually, my daughter, who's 7 years old, is also Puerto Rican. So if I guess these days it's cool to have guys in wrestling the same ring. So if you want my daughter to whip your son's ass for that title,
wow,
that's not a problem.
The first intergender title defense for the Puerto Rican title. Yes,
this is real legit aluminum foil, Chief. I didn't go cheap on this. Anyway, Andre, your next question, sir.
Now, being that Double J's focusing on global talent, yes, pun intended, wrestling fans, what international superstar does Jamin Olivencia want to, let's just say, tear his talons into the most on that roster? And why?
Kushida, yes.
Oh, Kushida. Okay.
He is awesome. Have you guys? If you haven't seen his stuff yet, he's
getting out there a whole lot more now.
He's like a ninja fighter. I love that. Like he's like a ninja, man. I don't know the guy. I saw his work at the shows and he was just awesome. I was like, man, and there's guys you see and you always want a piece of everyone on some level. You're like, I would like to experiment with that. I'd like to experiment with that. But anybody from a different culture, like I said earlier, anybody from a different place is always exciting because you're going to get something completely out of your comfort zone. And to me, that's always the idea of life, like always stepping out of your comfort zone and discovering things about yourself that you didn't know in terms of getting through situations that you have no idea about.
Testing boundaries.
Yeah, it's really just always pressing that. And that's exciting to me. That's always exciting to me. It never ends.
Okay,
always
very
stays
cool.
fresh, that's for sure.
All right, listen. Speaking about staying fresh, Andre.
Okay, let's.
There's absolutely no segue here. I just wanted to jump into my question. My next question is this, Jamin. This is going to be interesting. And you know what? I'm going to ask Chris the same question. Chris is on his Twitter looking at all the thousands of followers I'm sure he has, the thousands upon thousands.
You saw how many?
I did see how many, brother. You got me beat by like 7 Gs. But anyway, if not, let's start with Chris, and then we'll work our way over to Jamin. If not professional wrestling, then what?
I'd be like a zookeeper, maybe work at like Disney World or something like that.
Like, do you have any other passions that you would love to follow?
I mean, I still like other forms of entertainment, just none stand out nearly as much. I'd still want to be a part of some kind of show. I like doing a lot of behind the scenes kind of stuff. I like being like a stage manager for things. That's cool. But I really would like to work in like a giant theme park. I don't know what exactly I'd do. I'd like to have some sort of like thought process behind the scenes and saying this should go here and this should be painted this color and this should be the name of this ride, or you know what I mean? Something like that would be sweet.
Interesting. And now, speaking of entertainment, you're talking about adult entertainment or?
Jesus.
Well, I am the package.
Yeah.
Wow.
He does have the strap cam, so
the referee extraordinaire. Wonderful, Jamin. What about you, buddy? I want one so bad. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jamin.
No, I mean, we can keep talking about the camera. I mean, it sounds like this is an ideal career for all of us on some level.
I'm about to tape this phone to my forehead and just walk around with it. You don't even understand.
Yeah,
anyway.
It's gotta have that quality to it. Something, a passion outside of wrestling that I have and that I already do is I do spiritual guidance for people. I help people on an individual basis. I also do motivational speaking, if you'd like to call it that. I go to many schools and I talk to kids anywhere from high school to college and basically give them the idea of the things that excite me in everyday life, and that's always following your passion, not worrying about the little things around you, because in my opinion, and through what I've seen in wrestling and all the cool things I got to experience, you create your reality. I don't care who you are. No matter where you're from or whatever, you and your emotions alone create the reality that you see in front of you. Everything's a projection. So if you look at things that way, if you look at God that way, then it's the understanding that everything that's in front of you, if you have an accepting attitude towards it, good or bad, then you will always be able to prevail in the sense that life will give you the resources that you need to get through anything, whether that be for the good or for the bad. Does that make sense?
That makes a hell of a lot of sense, and I'd be interested to know, Jamin, really quickly before Andre jumps into his second question. Have you ever thought about maybe putting one of your motivational speeches on YouTube or via social media?
Absolutely. That's something I think we're going to be focusing on probably in the new year. One of the big things that has been kind of, I don't want to say an issue, but the colleges and schools have regulations where they don't want certain things on the internet due to their security reasons.
Then they see you in pictures with wrestling tights on.
Yeah. They're like, oh, he wrestles around with other sweaty men. That's why we can't.
They only allow forms that display school spirit, right?
It's really interesting. Yeah, I actually when I started walking in doing all this stuff, I thought I can just do that. Just, hey, can I film this? And it's like, no, we can't because of this. And you're like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. Colleges, colleges are a little. I only did 2 colleges, but the actual high schools themselves, that's just nearly next to impossible, just because of, I guess, security reasons for the students. So,
what I'm actually, and that's cool. But what I'm actually saying is that, I mean, Andre has his own YouTube channel. I have my own YouTube channel. I mean, have you ever considered maybe utilizing social media and maybe opening up your own YouTube channel and maybe once a week, once a month, twice a month, maybe go on and just give an inspirational word to anyone who's willing to listen regarding certain topics? I mean, this is something we could talk about afterwards, but I just thought that would be a great way of maybe kind of branching out, getting your name out, and also helping a larger mass of people via the World Wide Web.
Absolutely, there's no question about that. In fact, once again, that's another project we're collectively working on. Me and a few of the guys on producing something that would be good in terms of helping people and doing short clip videos. These are things you're going to probably see from me coming very soon. For me, it's about timing. It's about getting my message across in certain ways and in creative ways that can be fun for people. Anybody can, to me, it just seems like anybody can put a video of themselves talking about something. For me, I want to make it fun for the person that's watching it. So
you want to kind of structure how these things are laid out and how you present them too, because you don't want to put a bunch of like 20-minute videos on there. But if you could have put a couple few-minute videos on there, then the first couple ones will kind of have to be introductory of what you are and what you do and why you're doing this. And that'll take up a lot of the time. And just for the most part, people just want to kind of click on something that's only a couple minutes long until it really sparks and catches like wildfire, and then they'll want to watch more and more of you.
And I have so many ideas. Like, there's so many things that I wanna iron out. Like, I have ideas, so many ideas to make this fun. Once again, to me, the idea of helping people is really just putting them in a state of feeling good. So if someone's feeling good, then they're able to create what they want. But if they're focusing on things that they dislike, this and that, it's not fun for them. And for me, once again, it always goes back to giving people a good time in some way, shape, or form. So once again, I have those creative ideas everywhere. I feel like there are a bunch of pictures on the floor. However, I do want to organize them in a way that is going to be awesome. And I think that's something you're going to be seeing in the next couple of months from me very soon. So
very cool. Thank you for answering that question, Andre.
Thank you.
It's no secret that your boss is somewhat in charge of TNA right now. Some are calling it invasion, some are calling it a cross promotion, but in my opinion, what are your gentlemen's thoughts on the current invasion of total nonstop action wrestling by your promotion?
I think that's cool, man. I think it's just, you know, what an awesome way to get GFW's name out there and just kind of let everybody know who it is, because not everybody's going to only have social media or the means that is currently out there. And I know that they're filming a bunch of episodes to be able to put their own show out there. But until that happens, hey, TNA's already got a show. You've already got a relationship with them. Yeah, let's get Global Force off the ground and running.
I think it's interesting. I think going back to what Chris said, it gives Global Force an opportunity to just be seen by people that are not, let's just say, so much on social media looking for that, you know? And I think that's just a great opportunity for, I think Jeff is smart, you know, I think he knows what he's doing, and I have complete faith in his vision and the direction that they're going with TNA. I think it's cool. I think it should be exciting for the guys in TNA too. Give them something to look forward to.
It's
you know,
fresh for them, and for Global Force, it offers quite a bit of credibility too. Like a year ago, people were wondering if it was even really going to be a thing, and then yes, of course, rumors were starting out, and now all of a sudden, if you're attached to one of the major two promotions out there, you're a thing.
Yep, absolutely. That national platform.
Yeah.
Now, I have an interesting question. This is, I'm not going to say this is a WWE question. Andre, I'm sorry.
Okay, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the invasion angle.
Go for it, dude.
Okay. Global Force is going to have an X Division, Cruiserweight Division styled division. Next Gen. They're going to have a women's division. They're obviously going to have a heavyweight division. Now, is there going to be another division that maybe they're considering or dabbling in, like maybe a tag team?
Yes, we already have it. There is going to be a tag team division.
Awesome. Awesome. The Bollywood Boys, they've been in Western Canada for quite a while here for ECCW Wrestling from Vancouver.
Yeah, I've heard some awesome things about them. The Los Luchas that we have, they're awesome. The Akbars, he was talking about Muhammad Ali Baez, obviously Ali Akbar. And it's sweet, man. It's just it's got a little bit of an old school feel because you're getting the Lucha guys and you're getting the Akbars and you're getting kind of all these different flavors, but they've all got a sweet modern spin on it, and the matches are sick. It's cool. They got a sweet tag division, I think. Bullet Club, Killer Elite Squad, you know what I mean? So they're taking anybody who's not with WWE. Obviously, the people that work at WWE and TNA are great, but you're not always going to be able to get those people. But he's literally pulling the best tag teams from everywhere.
The Bucks. The Young Bucks, even.
The Young Bucks.
Yeah,
I refereed the Young Bucks several times on the Global Force shows. Can't forget about them. It's sweet, man. So anybody who's a tag team who's got a buzz and who's being talked about right now, and then a lot of new ones who are going to be really talented and be able to back it up.
Right. There's so many. I was going to say, there was guys I saw on the roster who I didn't know, and I was like, wow, this guy's really good. I don't know anything about him, but I think that's cool. You know, because
but that also speaks for kind of like, obviously you see even in the major companies right now, the guys who have been on the indies the last 10 years are the ones that are kind of shining right now. And now it's just that next crop of guys. They're all over. They're all over. Not just America and Canada, but like all over. They're just sprinkled throughout. And the people are getting really, really good. And they just need to be seen on a bigger stage more so that people realize, oh, shit, there's that many good wrestlers out there. How come I only know about the ones in this area?
Holy cow, Andre, I just figured something out.
What's up, brother?
I have a tag team that would take the title right now. Right there in GFW. It'd be an awesome tag team, and I would like to know Jamin Olivencia and Killer Chris Sharpe.
Killer now.
He's Killer Chris Sharpe.
Only if he has the strap-on head cam.
Yeah, and only if I can still be the ref.
I'm glad you threw that.
I can still be the ref and still count my own pin.
I am so glad. I'm so glad you ended by saying strap-on cam. Because it would have went. I'm just saying. There was a pause there, dude. It is what it is.
Should your new show be called the Strap-on Can-Am Wrestling Show?
That would be awesome.
So,
check us.
In a nutshell, boys, is this invasion gonna come to a violent head, and which organization is going to benefit the most from it? Just in closing.
Well, I hope it's us. I hope it comes to a violent head. Let's go in there.
I think it's Global Force, man. We're hungry. Yeah, we're hungry.
Sorry. Climbing the hill is hungrier than the one at the top. Eh?
I want to see a battle royal with all the referees.
Yeah, we can do that.
Oh my goodness.
That would be so awesome.
Chris Sharpe and Earl Hebner.
That would be sweet.
All right, so
by Chris Sharpe.
now I'm gonna ask you guys it's kind of a serious question. And the reason why I want to ask you guys this question is because, well, you know, you guys are in the business. And this is regarding a wrestler that a lot of people really love a lot in the WWE. And his name is Danny O'Brien. Now, my question is very specific to someone who's been in ring, someone who's trained in the ring, someone who's suffered injuries in the ring. The fact is, my question is, should Danny O'Brien retire before he does irreversible damage to himself, or should he risk it? Jamin, if you're in that position, I mean, every time I see this guy, and I know he's coming back, I do get a little worried for the guy. The guy seems to be a great guy. Bill Apter has met him many a time, says he's a sweetheart of a guy who really does give a damn about his fans, cares about his fans. This is one of the guys that I really, not that I want to see anybody hurt. I'm just saying, as a professional wrestler yourself, knowing the possible imminent irreversible damage, would you risk it? And should he risk it?
You know, it's hard to. It's a good question. It's I can tell you from my personal angle. The thing is with Daniel is that I don't know how he feels. I don't know what's really going on with him. I know there's a lot of this and that, but I just don't know how he physically feels. Me personally, if there's something that's jeopardizing my career, the way I look at it, from stepping out of the wrestling bubble as a human being, I say no. But I also have a daughter. I also want to be able to walk for her. To take myself out of a game of life for living my dream, I guess, it's a tough balance, because you're so passionate about one thing, but you're even more passionate about another thing. And for me, I'm passionate about wrestling. I'm passionate about entertaining people, but I'm extremely passionate about my family and how I'm going to take care of them in the future in general. So I would, like I said, it's hard to answer that question because I don't know how he feels personally. But if I was in a position where if I take a bad bump and I'm done and I'm in a wheelchair, you know, I guess it's worth it, I guess, but from a family man standpoint and a father, no, it's not. I would rather stick around in the business and help out in ways where I can still contribute, just not on an on-screen angle. And I think Daniel Bryan I think he can do that. You know, if he chooses to step away, I think he has a tremendous amount of insight and wisdom that he can give to a lot of the younger talents.
Right.
But him as an individual and as a human being, he's absolutely unbelievable. So I wouldn't be surprised if he continues to keep on going. I would just always hope for him that he just keeps it safe.
Now, the one thing I'll say for you, Jamin, and you're lucky, because I can see your career going a long, long way without any injuries, because you have Killer Chris Sharpe to carry the matches for you.
Well, that's the idea. See, me and Chris wanted to really develop a plan. We wanted to develop a tag team that people can just latch onto right away. Not based on our looks, not based on our skills, not based on anything, but based on that strap camera. That strap on camera that you can strap anywhere on your body, allowing those lens to see whatever they want.
So are you Jamin's Nick Patrick?
Yeah, I could say, I just turn my head and I'll say, the ref didn't see it. Here, look, here's the proof.
Now, I think at worst case scenario, if Daniel Bryan does have to stop performing in the ring, I think they could get a good 2 years as a general manager out of him. At least one. At worst case scenario.
But I think he'd be more beneficial, like in NXT, maybe training the young guys coming into the. Jamin.
I'm sorry, I missed your question.
No, it wasn't a question. I was just stating that. A general manager would be great, and I would love to have him there. But I think a guy like that, who just cares about people so much and is just so talented and has so much knowledge, as you just stated, would be just more beneficial at the lower level, let's say NXT training center, helping and developing young talents come up.
You can put them on that level. You can put them up on the road even as a behind the scenes.
And you know what? There's no reason they can't do both. It sounds exactly like what William Regal's doing down there right now.
Yeah, William Regal's doing a hell of a job. I mean,
he's amazing.
What I
see, and he's able to do the general manager role on screen and help the talent off screen.
He's a wealth of knowledge and he's got world experience. And you can't. I don't care who you are or what you've done. You can't beat that. You're not really.
Yeah. Wisdom is very hard to come by. And when you have somebody who's so wise and who's been through so much, that's kind of a fountain you want to keep going to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, again, going back to what you said about Jim Cornette, I do agree with you. I think the man can bring a lot to the table, a breadth of wisdom and knowledge.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Passion.
Yeah, you can have, like, anybody can have their personal issues with people, but that doesn't necessarily mean that those people and their ideas don't count on some level. I don't have, let's just say we didn't like each other, but yet you can say something to me and I may be able to use that in my life in some way and vice versa.
Or even in business. In business all the time. You don't always get along with everyone you work with.
Right.
You do a certain thing because you know that that's what's going to be best for everybody.
That's the idea. And it's getting past the petty shit. Sorry, but for using that, but I mean, it's just getting past that petty crap and really listening to what these guys have to say still and applying it in your own way. And when you do, I mean, it's awesome. Look at these guys. They're insane. Look at Rowdy Piper, and God rest his soul. But he was an amazing personality. He was a wealth of knowledge as well too. And people like that that come around and contribute where they can is freaking awesome. And when they leave, you miss them more because that's when you see what they've done. And I wish we can see it more often, right? When everyone's still alive. But again, that's the beauty of it all.
And Ray, I'm going to skip my question because Jamin's on the topic right now. I know one of your questions is pertaining and relating to the American Dream and Roddy Piper. So jump ahead to that question just because we're relative right now.
Well, I mean, listen, I grew up as a kid in the 80s. And I actually got to meet Roddy Piper at a world premiere wrestling event down here in the resorts. Just so cool. Like, you would never know that he was a movie star, a pop culture icon, WWE Hall of Famer. I mean, just real. But forget about that. Let's just talk about, actually screw it. Let's talk about everything. You have Roddy Piper and you have the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Now, you talk about a wealth of knowledge. You talk about fountains of wisdom. I mean, the world of wrestling has lost two very prominent figures, not only of the 80s, but I always believe that in order to move forward, you have to look back at your past and never forget where you came from. And a lot of these guys, and these two gentlemen, for me, as a huge wrestling fan, these two losses actually hit me on a personal level. I just wanted to know your feelings, guys, on the losses of these two major icons in wrestling.
It's unfortunate, it's heartbreaking. Dusty Rhodes, I was so heartbroken because my experiences with Dusty had been nothing but always funny because he would always just give me pointers on promos, and he was such a good coach about it. And that's what I really appreciated out of him with the short time that I got to experience with them. Roddy Piper is a completely different guy. I had the opportunity to really just connect with him on so many levels throughout the years of my career, and every time he was always encouraging me to just be crazier. He's like, man, you got to lose your mind out there. That's what you want to do. And our conversations were no more than 10 minutes, but for years, for 12 years, I'd see him over the years, and he would always remember me, and he would always say the same thing to me, just reiterating everything that he would tell me over and over again. And to me, I just appreciated it so much. When he passed, I remember I had that moment where I was like, damn, you know, and you take that moment and you hold it inside, and I even know that he was even right there. Like, you know, and it was beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to experience when you meet people like that who touch you in a way that motivates you. And he really brought out the tiger in me for sure. Absolutely.
That's awesome. Chris, you have any thoughts, buddy?
Yeah, man. It's just, I mean, I agree with everything he said, but to add to that, it's kind of crazy to think how many more people are affected, you know, and their lives are kind of changed and affected by this now that they're actually passed than when they were even here just weeks ago. It's, you know, amazing just, you know, that icons and people that are just going to be, you know, some people would consider some of these guys on like the Mount Rushmore of wrestling or whatever, you know what I mean? It's just like, man, they're gone. Like you can't meet them anymore. It stinks, you know? So if you ever get a chance to meet somebody like that, like I learned this lesson a long time ago, and I don't really even practice it that often, but if it's a chance where you really enjoy your time with somebody and you get a chance and you don't know if you're ever going to see that person again, get like a picture with that person or something, you know, because, man, something like this is going to happen one day and you're going to be like, damn, I wish I got it.
Yeah, awesome. Andre, I know you have 2 questions that you're going to ask back to back, so I'm just going to step away for a brief second if you guys don't mind. So go shoot away, Andre.
Now, this is a tag team related question. I know we lightly touched on it earlier. Is tag team wrestling at its peak a thing of the past? If not, what do you think can be done to resurrect dwindling tag team wrestling across the board? I personally think the manager needs to be brought back in order to make it work.
That's sweet. That's a good one.
I agree.
I would say from like a couple of years ago, you would almost kind of feel like the art of tag team wrestling had died. And then it's like, it wasn't necessarily all of a sudden, but it felt like it was creeping up on you. It's like, okay, it's coming back. I'm hearing more about tag teams. The tag team matches end up being some of the sweeter ones on the cards for a lot of these shows, a lot of the indie shows, and a lot of the major shows at this point. And they're starting to invest in them a little bit more because the people are responding to them more. So I think as long as people show that that's what they're interested in, then they're going to get more of it. But I think for a while there, it just kind of fizzled out, and then people didn't care, so they're like, well, why put it on there anyways?
I think it's just what they highlight, what they want to highlight sometimes. And I think at certain times, tag teams...
Give them a reason to highlight
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
The fans just got to be loud. Sometimes the fans don't realize how much say they really have in this stuff. If they start a Twitter war and get some real attention,
absolutely,
that can make some changes in these companies these days.
You know, we brought them up briefly earlier, the Young Bucks. Like, I feel like those guys are bringing an excitement to the idea of tag team wrestling. When you say, oh, Young Bucks, it gets people all excited. Every time that name gets brought up, people get excited. I see it around me. So that tells me that that's a good indication that, you know, people are into that, you know. But I've never been much of a tag team wrestler, so I don't. It's hard for me to be
for you, it's different.
Emotionally involved with that.
As a ref, there's so many more stories that I can tell in a tag team match, and as a ref, I can see right away if somebody knows how to work a tag team match, or if it's pretty much like 2 separate singles matches going on. And then at the end, they have all 4 in there, and no one's listening to the ref just so we can all get our spots in. And so, but there's just no art to it sometimes.
Yeah, cutting the ring in half.
I think it's just because there's nobody to teach. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. There's like not a whole lot of older tag teams that are still doing it that can pass on the knowledge, and that's kind of the problem. We have a gap there now. So it's like, oh, how do we fill in that gap? There's only so many people that can help us put the pieces together.
Yep.
And they're all signed.
And I think to make tag team wrestling more appealing, you need to pair with the heel teams a manager. It just think
Makes
of all of
sense.
the great tag teams that had managers. It just it was more of a spectacle. It was more believable with the interference that would go on, and it just plays better to the crowd and plays better for the heel, right?
Just so much. Yeah, there's so much you can do with it. So much. You just open up so many more doors when you have that.
We had Timmy Danger on the show at the peak of when he was messing with Jamin's grill there, costing him the title and all that kind of crap. And I'm sure that made that feud even on a higher level, having him messing with you as the champion and such a dominant champion for such a long time.
Yes, I think Timmy Danger really brought the drama to me and Marcus Anthony. He really brought the excitement, the hatred. People didn't like him, man. He would leave the building, and people wanted to fight him, and it was awesome.
He's good, so good at what he does.
He did a very good job. At the time, he was so we were selling out all the time. Every time me and Marcus had our matches, and Timmy was involved in some manner, those people literally came there in hopes to see me whip his ass. And
how many different people did he bring? I know Moose was one. I know he brought a number of different talents in before ultimately Marcus Anthony was the one.
There was Johnny Spade, Moose, Marcus, I believe. I believe that, but I'm not. I think we lasted. I think we lasted about a year on TV.
Oh, in my opinion, it was the best feud in OVW.
Thank you. It was one of the best times. I thought when I was champion that it was probably some of the funnest times I've ever had. It was probably the best time I think I've ever had an OVW, period. It was just a high moment for me. People were just going crazy. They just loved me. They loved what we were doing.
Yeah, it was easy to buy into.
Everybody that worked their asses off being in that company too. I'm not saying it was all me or all Timmy or Marcus. It was literally during a time when everybody was so competitive. You know, when I was champion, I remember the locker room feeling like I remember everyone was talking crap to me after a while, like, all right, I'm gonna go out there and outdo you. And I like that attitude. I'm like, good, try to outdo me, and then I'm gonna wipe the floors with you. You know, and that was just a fun, exciting time for me. That's what I love about wrestling, though. It's so competitive in that sense. You know, everyone is really trying to outdo each other on some form. You know, and how cool is that?
It's awesome. And that feud was really, really easy to buy into. It was really, really easy to buy into. Like I said, probably my favorite feud that I can remember.
Well, we didn't really like each other for a good portion. You know, it's fun when you don't necessarily get along with all the guys sometimes, because
makes for better trash talk, right?
It does. It really does. You know,
And sorry, I'm butting back in. Obviously, you still get the level of professionalism, but man, it makes it good sometimes. It makes it real good because the matches are more physical, and you're not gonna break the dude's neck. And, you know, it's kind of like an unspoken thing, but man, you do kind of go all out more, and it's awesome to see up close.
Yeah, I love that competition, man. You know, to me, that's the real fight. You know, that's what it's all about. It's all about that. So. Timmy brought it when he needed to bring it. Unfortunately for him, though, I brought it to him when I had the chance. So
yeah, Ray, we were talking about Timmy Danger.
Oh, I love Timmy Danger. Timmy Danger is one of my faves, man.
Jamin was just explaining how the fans hated him and despised him so much that they'd literally try and scrap him and fight him after the shows.
Let me tell you something.
It was good.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you this straight from the heart. Timmy Danger is my friggin' homeboy. If anybody gets in Timmy Danger's face, you're gonna have to deal with me. and I know how to throw hands. So take a step to the side. Let two true men like me and Timmy Danger walk through. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't want a piece of me. Because you know who I got behind me? Andre Corbeil. He'll poke you right in the eyes, right, Andre?
And knee in the nards.
Yeah, but if the ref sees it, guess what? Guess who's disqualified? All of you guys.
As long as the helmet cam don't get the footage, I'm scot-free.
Yeah, but then we have Chris Sharpe, who's now become our homeboy, who will turn the helmet cam around. Kind of like, hip-hop style.
Strap on, Cam. Get it right.
I feel so uncomfortable using the terminology of strap on and then pausing, then cam. So I mean, it is what it is. But no, Timmy Danger is literally he was one of my favorite guests on this show. He's just so funny, so cool. I can see him getting that heat. Much like I can see a guy like Jamin Olivencia getting a hell of a lot of heat. It's very, people think, oh, it's so much easier being the heel. Not if you don't have that the ability to make people want to punch you in the face. Timmy Danger, even though I love the guy, I could see wanting to punch the guy in the face. You know what I'm saying? The thing is,
he's not likable.
Yeah,
his demeanor.
But he is.
Like him. You're like, dude, you're a piece of crap. Like that's how you feel when you see him.
Right. That's wonderful. That's a wonderful thought. I love Timmy Danger. He's a piece of crap.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful. Andre, do you have another? Can I jump into my last question?
You got one more?
I got one more, but go ahead, Chris.
Right,
what are you going to say about Timmy?
No. I got one.
No, I was. Chris looks like he wants to say something about Timmy Danger being a piece of crap.
Yeah, he is a piece of crap, but he's our piece of crap.
Right?
How long did he have everybody swerved with that wheelchair thing? How long was he in a wheelchair?
Yeah. There's some good times.
Oh, that's so awesome. So now, look, I'm going to ask this last question to Jamin. Jamin, this is a serious question, man. Now, you do know that Global Force Wrestling is kind of, intertwining and having their issues with Total Nonstop Action or Impact Wrestling. Now, I was just interested to know whether Jamin Olivencia would bypass. I think you're bigger, with all due respect, than any tag team titles. I think you're bigger than maybe perhaps the X Division title. I think you may have not won that title, but I think you may have professionally been there and done that. Is there any possibility that Jamin Olivencia would go for the TNA World Heavyweight title, maybe bring that over to Global Force Wrestling, just like Jeff Jarrett brought that King of the Mountain title over?
No, that's really a Jeff Jarrett decision. But here's the decision that I'm going to make right now while I'm discussing this with you guys. Number one, Jamin Olivencia is the man. Number two, Jamin Olivencia is the man. Number three, when I say Jamin Olivencia is the man, you pay attention. And I want everybody from Total Nonstop Action, Impact, whatever you want to call yourselves, to pay attention to Jamin Olivencia and dare yourself to get in the mirror and talk like I can talk, walk like I can walk, because here's the facts. The facts are, when Jamin Olivencia walks in the room, people pay attention. When Jamin Olivencia acts like Jamin Olivencia, people want to be Jamin Olivencia. There is a light that's shining right now, and it's a light that's going to blind your eyes for the rest of your careers. Do you understand what I'm talking about, Impact Wrestling? Do you understand what I'm talking about, Global Force Wrestling? My challenge goes out to any of you. You want to out-talk Jamin Olivencia? You want to outwalk Jamin Olivencia? Then what's going to probably end up happening is you're going to twirl around, you're going to get confused, and then I'm going to slap you in the face, and then you're going to realize how stupid you look when you're up against a guy like Jamin Olivencia. That's the difference between me and everybody else. And I need to make that point very, 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 very clear. Because the more clear I make it, the more that it's going to resonate with inside yourselves.
Well, my wife is trying to sleep, and she's actually a former TNA wrestler, so maybe she'll accept the challenge.
And are we allowed to know who this young lady is?
Yeah, she's one of the Blossom Twins.
Oh, yes.
So you've had some damn good cupcakes in your day, huh?
Oh my goodness.
See, I told you I was on here to steal Jamin Olivencia's airtime.
Wait. What are we talking about? Cupcakes? This girl cooks?
Oh yeah.
Cupcakes, bro.
Oh yeah.
Like champs. Like champs.
Yeah, and in England they
too.
like the cupcakes. They're not like rice and beans like you and I, Ray.
No, but listen, let me tell you something. There is nothing more attractive than an attractive woman who can freaking cook. Trust me, I know. I have one in my life.
And I'll tell you something, Chris. Our audience would love an update on what your wife is up to and yada yada. Cause all I got is cupcakes, bro.
Andre, I'm sorry. Chris, what were you saying? We can get the Blossom Twins on here?
Oh yeah.
Sign it.
Be interested.
Sign it, Ray.
Dude, I have to send him an e-contract. That sounds like a plan.
Yeah,
and
we're due to have a female talent on the show. We haven't had a female talent on the show since Cherry Bomb.
And just Cherry Bizom. But just to just close everything and just finish up here, Jamin, again, we did that show, where you've been calling out Kurt Angle for the longest time, and now Kurt Angle is getting better, and he'll be back soon. And I just really want to know if maybe perhaps, I don't know, maybe one day at a TNA Impact taping, maybe Jeff Jarrett kind of sends Jamin Olivencia over to the Impact Zone or wherever they're wrestling that night, and maybe Jamin Olivencia gets in the face of Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle can stop, with all due respect, ducking Jamin Olivencia, and maybe give him the time of day, the time that he deserves, the time that Jamin Olivencia has earned. Not that I'm shooting a promo for you or anything, I'm not Paul Heyman, but Jamin Olivencia has been calling Kurt Angle out for a little over a year, or maybe about a year. It doesn't really matter in this time and day, but like Jamin Olivencia says, the time is now. My thing is that I want to see Kurt Angle finally get better, because Kurt Angle is the best, and I honestly feel that Jamin Olivencia, being a friend of mine, is the best of the best, and I want to see Jamin Olivencia in the ring with the best, which would make Jamin Olivencia the best when he beats the best.
Yeah,
you guys follow me?
Here's my only thing with Kurt Angle. I have no problem going into the Impact Zone, and when Kurt Angle is healthy, I don't have no problem getting in Kurt Angle's face, and I have no problem beating Kurt Angle in front of everyone, to show everyone, to really solidify myself. My only issue with Kurt Angle is the fact that he has refused to answer my challenge, and I can't help but feel that there's a part of him that feels a little inferior to me.
It's a good thing there's a global force invasion going on.
Absolutely. And I think that's where things are going to start to get really interesting. Talk about Jeff Jarrett keeping his mouth shut. He shall keep his mouth shut, because Jamin Olivencia is going to be the one that's opening his mouth, and everybody's going to hear what I have to say when I want to say it.
So what you're basically saying is JEFFJARRETT may release Jamin Olivencia on the Olympic hero.
Unleash.
You can say unleash. I just hope Kurt Angle's ready, because I've been ready for quite some time, and he has been really, really good at just being patient and not doing anything about it because he thinks like I'm a kid or something. But if I'm that kid, Kurt, then shut me up.
Well, here's the funny thing, Jamin Olivencia. Again, Andre, I'm gonna end it because I'm very passionate about this. And Andre, you know that whenever I have somebody who I consider to be a friend of mine, I will stick up for this person. I don't need to stick up for Jamin Olivencia. Jamin Olivencia doesn't need anyone to talk for him. But what I would like to do is actually direct this to Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle, again, I'm gonna ask you, Kurt Angle, to stop talking about you winning an Olympic gold medal with a broken freaking neck. The fact is, at the end of the match with Jamin Olivencia, my question is, how are you going to crawl out of the match or out of the ring with another one? Food for thought.
Dun 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 dun.
Andre,
dun,
please.
Dun. Now I got a quick Michael Hayes question. Now it's no secret that he was involved with this current WWE Tough Enough and ended up bowing out a little earlier than maybe possible. I think he could have went quite a ways.
I think so too.
But obviously there was something that, I don't know if it was private, personal, or professional, that caused your friend to bow out. What are your thoughts in that regard?
Mike is, I'm not sure what you've seen of what they produced, but Mike is an extremely tough dude. And the training, I don't want to sit here and tell his story, but the training that they were doing with him, his opposite leg, the good leg, had actually tore up, literally. So, you know, that's dangerous. Yeah. No matter who you are, your leg opens up, you know. And right now, the cool part is, though, he is getting all that stuff fixed in his own personal way. However, he has to do that through his doctors, and WWE is probably going to give him an opportunity. So I think you're going to see Michael Hayes, no question about it, in a WWE ring, and I definitely think you're going to see Michael Hayes changing the face of wrestling on some level. I really believe that.
And at least deserving another shot on another season, because it's not like he was voted off or you know what I'm saying? He does deserve a second look. So.
Right. I think he deserves a second look, but as they said on their show, they're gonna give him
an
opportunity. He's already walking in. I don't even think it's a matter of being on a Tough Enough show, as much as he'll probably walk in there and they'll give him the shot that he deserves. Only, I mean, you know, how can you not give him a shot?
It's a great story, right?
Ass. It's a wonderful story, but on top of that, just training with him personally on a day-to-day basis. You know, he's one of those guys that me and Chris were discussing earlier that's in our group, and we are strong people, and he is a strong dude, and he has done a great job of doing everything he could to make his stuff work. And it's gotten to the point where we talked about creating our reality. Well, he went there with the intention of being the best he can. Circumstances, life happened, and he remained keeping a good attitude. And through keeping that good attitude, obviously, like I said, I don't know if you guys saw it or not, Canyon Seaman of the WWE told him he's got an opportunity if he wants it. So really the ball's in his court, and when he gets the things that he needs to get physically fixed, I'm telling you, I think you're going to see Michael Hayes do some pretty amazing things.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Agreed, Andre. Well, I mean, on my end, I do not have any more for Jamin Olivencia. I'm sorry, Jamin, that I kind of lost it a little bit. It's a little frustrating when, you know, you support somebody and you truly believe in this person. You believe in everything that he stands for, everything he does, everything that you see him do, and yet, you know, you have this quote unquote Olympic hero, this wrestling legend, continue to just ignore you. It just truly frustrates me. And I mean, I know Kurt Angle's not going to watch our little program here, but I don't know, maybe the video gets kind of shown to him somehow, or maybe he gets to see it, or maybe
Kurt's going to hear about this. Kurt, that's the thing, people talk, right? So Kurt's going to hear about it, and that's fine. I hope you're still listening, Kurt, because when I slap you upside the head, you probably lose your hearing next. So you're going to have to figure that out yourself, because I'm still here, I'm still feeling good, I'm still smiling, and I'm still better looking than you. So hopefully you are the animal that you say you are, and I'll show you the animal that I know I am.
And just to get this straight with fans, I myself promise that I directly tweet this video to Kurt Angle. Directly.
I mean, Jamin, I'm no mechanic, but I'm pretty certain that you can take apart a cyborg. Anyway.
Oh, nicely done,
Andre. Why don't you wrap us up and take us home, brother?
Now, for wrestling fans that want to know more about Global Force Wrestling, you can go to globalforcewrestling.com/live events, roster, whatever have you. But globalforcewrestling.com. Now, Global Force's schedule and tour dates abroad are in the process right now, as GFW will get very busy over the next few months with quite a few appearances in a host of locations, like August 21st in Las Vegas, and that's a TV taping. August 22nd in Reno, Nevada. August 28th in Harrisburg, PA. August 29th in Richmond, Virginia. September 3rd in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. September 4th in Waterloo, Iowa. September 5th in Clinton, Iowa. September 26th in San Antonio, Texas. September 27th in Round Rock, Texas, before the next GFW Amped, which takes place on October 23rd in Las Vegas. Then to top it all off, they said it wouldn't be done. Global Force Wrestling invades the United Kingdom, wrestling fans, with the UK tour dates, including October 28th in Grimsby, Lincolnshire, and October 30th in Kingsland, Norfolk. Make sure to check out Global Force Wrestling if it comes to a town near you, and support wrestling, because more than one show is best for business. Now, I'm a knowledgeable, passionate wrestling fan. Big Ray's a knowledgeable, passionate wrestling fan, and we're right here to report at onewrestling.com each and every week for you knowledgeable, passionate wrestling fans that support us, tried, tested, and true, and we do it for you. And you know the score, you know the drill. We ain't gonna stop, because we're all in this for one thing. And what's that, Ray?
Wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, I say this every single time I shoot a video for the last, 5 years almost here?
80 years, don't lie.
I would do this for a living, but if I can, I would do it anyway, because I love talking wrestling. Once again, I would love to thank Jamin Olivencia, our buddy, for coming on this show. I want to wish you the best of luck, and I want to wish Kurt Angle the best of luck getting in the ring with you.
Right.
And I want to also thank Chris Sharpe for coming on today with us. It was pretty awesome to have him on, and we will definitely have to work out maybe getting the ladies on this show, Andre. So maybe we can chit chat about that after the fact. But guys, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Don't forget Bill Apter. He asked everybody this question. Jamin Olivencia, I'm going to ask you this question. See if you have the answer. If not, Andre can help you out. But somebody asked me once, is wrestling fixed?
Andre, take it away.
I didn't know it was broken. Bill Apter's book, you can get it now. And hey, you're not gonna be disappointed.
Speaking of wealth of knowledge, speaking about wisdom, follow him at After One Wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you. And don't forget Diana Hart's book, and that is The Cauliflower, what?
Heart.
The Cauliflower Heart.
Part 1 of 3. So
a romantic wrestler, which Jamin Olivencia is also a romantic wrestler. Right, Jamin?
Well, ask your girlfriend.
Oh, read between the lines, Chief. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.
I love